Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just some DC news. So we are slowly, I guess, approaching the 1 month mark, or roughly the 1 month mark, until a couple of DC related things hit our eyes, both on the big screen and the small screen. The first being the fourth and final season of Superman and Lois in the middle of October, and of course Joker 2 around this. Actually, well, Joker 2 is technically first. I think it's like a couple of weeks earlier than Superman and Lois comes out, I think, roughly. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Joker 2 is first. But the main DC things coming our way over the next, year, or just, the next year and then beyond, is of course that of the DC Studios universe, and yeah, all that. They're just that whole upcoming universe as a whole. And we have some stuff relating to that in this video, as well as some other projects outside of that universe, and also some stuff from the past as well, which had some new comments added on top, which caused a bit of, I don't know, you could say ruckus, or at least conversation, but also was a bit misleading at the same time. So just a bit of a mixed pack of DC news across the board. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we go over. Always curious to read what people are thinking, and enjoy the video. Drop a like, takes 2 seconds. So the first thing you go over is something from Mattson Tomlin. For some reason, I always thought his name was Matt Tomlinson. I guess just when you're not properly paying attention to names, you just forget, we just don't actually know what the names are. But anyway, he is I don't know if he was the sole screenwriter. I feel like he wrote it with Matt Reeves. I'm pretty sure he's at least a screenwriter for The Batman and, of course, its sequel. And he actually gave an update on The Batman Part 2 because there's been a lot of, I guess, lies or just, fake news brought up about this movie. So this is what he said. It's shooting next year. We're gearing up, and I will say that the bar just couldn't be higher. It's a sequel to the first one, but also Matt Reeves is like no other. In the 5 years now that I've been working with him as close as I have, I've tried to absorb as much as humanly possible from him, and I'm so grateful for the time that I got to spend with him. Oh, I get to spend with him because he is a true artist who is operating in a world where sometimes art doesn't get to flourish, and he's trying to make something that really matters. So to be able to just be on the ride and be part of that process, it's pretty unbelievable, pretty tremendous. I'm psyched for the movie. Now, doesn't really give any major details in regards to what's happening or specific dates and everything like that. Just that it's shooting next year. And I think Matt Reeves might have mentioned this as well, but once again, very loosely in regards to when it exactly is happening. Now, there's a lot of people questioning the Batman and its universe and stuff going forward, with James Gunn's universe being there, and there's a lot of people still wondering whether they're going to connect them. I would be shocked if they connected them. I actually don't think it makes sense to connect them. I think the Batman world stands on its own. It was designed to stand on its own. It's not designed really to have a Superman or anything like that, at least from the outside looking in. So I think it should just stand on its own, let them finish their story. They'll be done in a few years from now. But there's just a lot of people wondering whether this iteration and stuff gets less attention and focus given to it. And I mean, if it's going to make money for Warner Brothers, they're going to put the focus needed in there. That's just the bottom line of it all. There's no real reason to think, oh, because of this main DC universe, they're not going to give this one the attention. Spoiler, there was another universe going on when the first one was being made. It was the DCEU, and this was being made when the DCU was potentially in a renaissance, and unfortunately just never was able to build upon that. So yeah, I don't think there should be really any concerns about this. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't love the first one. I don't think it's the best Batman movie. I know a lot of people say that. I don't think it's the best. But I'm still a big fan of it. Though I've seen, I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but over the past, probably the past year or so, roughly, people try to do this retroactive criticism and stuff, and trying to say it's a bad movie now. It's definitely not a bad movie. But anyway, speaking of Batman, Michael Keaton actually added some words on Batgirl's cancellation, or shelving, whichever way you want to word it, or deletion. It's probably all three, I guess. I think this is the first time he's actually publicly talked about it. But anyway, this is what he said about it. He goes, "No, I didn't care one way or another. Big, fun, nice check. I like those boys. They're nice guys." Talking about the directors. "I pull for them. I want them to succeed, and I think they felt very badly, about the movie being taken away, and that made me feel bad. For me, I'm good." And I saw people going on about this and stuff like that. I mean, I think you gotta remember, this comment's recent. It was in the Beetlejuice 2 press tour, I think, or an interview surrounding that movie. Well, it's not out yet, it's coming out soon. And you gotta remember, he was involved in just some messy stuff. Of course, then of course, I think the actual filming thing with the Flash was fine, but it was of course the post stuff with everything that happened there. But you gotta remember, he was dragged into all that stuff when they weren't too sure what was happening with this universe and whether they were doing anything with Flashpoint and stuff. So Ben Affleck filmed scenes for Aquaman 2. but also Michael Keaton did as well, and then neither of those two Batman scenes ends up in the actual final movie. It was very, very messy, and he got dragged into it. Sure, he would have got paid for pretty much, if he had to rock up, he would have got paid, which I'm sure he was fine with, but he got dragged into it at all. So I think he's sort of just at this point where it's like, I had fun being Batman. I got paid a decent amount. Now it's time to move on. But yeah, people try to like, take only like some of that quote where it goes, no, I didn't care one way or another. I got paid, like, and just use that half of the quote. When really it's just a thing of like, look, it's not really for me to care. His time as Batman was ages ago, like 30 years ago. Yeah, I think that's just the way he's putting it. The next thing actually has to do with the Kumail Nanjiani Booster Gold situation, which is still floating out there. People don't even know really what's happening with this because that rumor came out a while ago, but it hasn't been debunked, and there's been stuff to back it up while also not confirming it at the same time. But Natalia Safran, who is the wife of Peter Safran, aka the co-head of DC Studios, is a regular Instagram user, and a lot of people do comment stuff on her Instagram, not just recently, but in like the past couple of years as Peter Safran's been involved with more and more DC projects. And Natalia Safran did like a comment on Instagram about Kumail Nanjiani being cast as Booster Gold. A lot of people think this means it's confirmation. Now, if you've been paying attention, or if you've known about Natalia Safran and some of the stuff on social media over the past probably like 18 months specifically, but maybe even before that, she likes a lot of random comments. She likes almost like a lot of the comments on her Instagram. If you comment, like, I'm not even joking, if you go onto her thing and just say a random thing that's related to DC, or even just like a positive comment in some way, you probably have a decent chance she'll like the comment. She likes a lot of the random comments there. For reference, and this definitely doesn't debunk the Kumail Nanjiani thing, but just a reference, she liked a comment about Grant Gustin being in the Flash movie last year as well. Like she liked a comment about that. So just things like that she will like comments on. So it's got to remember, she's not a creative. She just sometimes appears in the movies. Like she's in Aquaman and a couple of different things, and I feel like she might have been in Shazam too, I think, or something. Or maybe it was was it the Suicide Squad? It was the Suicide Squad she was in. She played some weird looking villain or something like that. So it's definitely not a reliable source to come off, but you never know. Maybe she knows something we don't know. But would she do that? Would she reveal if it wasn't public? I don't know. Maybe she would. But of course, speaking about James Gunn, or actually, sorry, Peter Safran related things, Sean Gunn, of course, we know is going to be portraying Max Lord, or Maxwell Lord if we want to be formal, in this upcoming DC universe. We don't know if he's going to be in Superman. We don't know if he's going to be in Creature Commandos. We just know he's been cast in that role and he's going to be showing up. Now, this is what he had to say on his portrayal of Maxwell Lord that's coming up. He said, "I can't say much other than we did talk about relevant materials and we discussed the character in detail before I dive in. We referenced no live performances of the character. It's all from the written materials with things that we figure we're looking at," which I think is the right way to go about it. Like if it's intentional to, like the character's meant to be based off previous like live action things, okay, fair enough. That'd be very odd. The only way that would work is if you're meant to be playing the same version. So, for example, when Brandon Routh played Superman, he's meant to be playing the Christopher Reeve version of Superman. So it makes sense he based his performance off Christopher Reeve. But with this, he's not playing the Pedro Pascal version, not playing the version from Supergirl, he's not playing the version from, I guess, Superman and Lois that ended up being Tal Rowe or whatever it was. He's not playing any of them. Now, a lot of people thought, I guess people just don't read. I know it's the internet and people just sort of rush to conclusions, but a lot of people thought this quote was them saying that like they're dismissing all the previous live action performances. No, he's just saying that we're not basing this Maxwell Lord and its performance off a previous live action performance, which makes sense considering what they're going to be doing with this character in the universe, at least based on from what we've seen with some of the Superman set photos and stuff like that. I think people just want to get angry. People just want to get angry for some reason. But yeah, I think his explanation is fine, based off the comic. And also, it sounds like James Gunn's going for a specific interpretation of Maxwell Lord, because there is different interpretations of the characters in the comics, or that character, might I say, specifically in the comics. So yeah, it makes sense that they look at specific material from the written stuff in the comics to base his character off. I don't know if Sean Gunn's really a good casting. That's a wait and see. Just because you're used to him playing weird characters, or like zany characters. But it's a wait and see, I guess. And the final thing to talk about in this video is actually some stuff on Peacemaker 2. And we got John Cena, who I think might have just retired from the wrestling stuff. Anyway, but he was asked about the Peacemaker 2 release date because we still don't know what's happening there. But then that's like a while away anyway, so it'd be weird if you had a specific date. But he said, "I'm hopeful in saying next year, and that's about the only Peacemaker question I can answer." I think this lines up. I mean, They're going to be done filming that season soon. I think I'm not too sure if James Gunn gave an update in regards to how far they are into filming that, but they'd be probably closer to the end than they are the start. But it also depends, like they're not going to release it before Superman. We don't know specifically what's happening with some of the other shows, and they might not want to release Peacemaker too soon after after Superman. I would say you're probably looking at like a date, maybe like where the Penguin is. Like we still don't know whether it sounds like this show is still going to be on Max, or formerly HBO Max, unlike some of the other shows where they're going to HBO proper. Like it sounds like Waller's going to be on HBO proper now as well, but there's no word on Peacemaker. Peacemaker at this moment is still an HBO Max show. So I would say probably around October, maybe September if they want to do that, but it wouldn't surprise me too much if they really maybe even want to wait till like after Superman's available on like digital and 4K and stuff like that. So a while after the movie's been in theaters. So it's wait and see, of course, but I think this show will definitely be out before the end of the year. It's just whether it's like around October or maybe around like the date that Creature Commandos is going to be out, which is around December roughly. But yeah, once again, looking forward to Peacemaker Season 2. It's not high on my list in regards to anticipation, but when it's out, it's out. I'm not really counting down the days to it, but I'll definitely watch it when it comes out and just, you know, there's a lot of curiosity around it as well because it existed before this new universe, but it's carrying on into the new universe at the same time. So it's a curious one. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.